Hello, I'm Alison Rendall. I'm speaking to you today from Shetland, the furthest North Isles in the UK. Fair Isle knitting is always done in the round, so that you are always working with knit stitches on the outside of your design so that you can watch pattern and design emerge. It's rare that we use purl stitches other than the ribbing. So what we do in Shetland when we come to the armholes is to cast on extra stitches, also known as steek stitches, on both sides. And this enables us to continue to knit in the round in a sort of tube shape all the way up to the shoulder join. Then afterwards, the steek stitches are cut open to open the armhole, and from there you can make the sleeves. So what I wanted to show you today was the differences when you're cutting between Shetland wool and a synthetic wool. And I'm going to cut my samples now and show you the differences. So at first glance, both pieces are looking good. This is the acrylic one, and you can see that it is looking quite shiny and stitch definition is very neat. The Shetland wool one is much more natural looking, not as shiny, and the colours are already a bit more blended. Fair Isle knitting is normally done in 2-ply jumper weight, which is a bit thinner than the acrylic wool. This means that you have good pattern definition in small, fine gauge knitting, not chunky. So firstly, I'm going to take my Shetland wool piece, and here are is my steek, or my extra stitches. So as I said, I cast on 8, and I'm going to cut them right down the middle, as if I was cutting an armhole. It's as simple as that. So from here, what I would do next would be to curl these edges under, stitch them down, and that would be your finished edge ready to knit your sleeve from here. And you can see there's nothing going to happen with these stitches. Shetland wool is sticky and all hooks together, and although it may appear worrying to do it, in actual fact Shetland wool, because of its sticky qualities, is not going to fray. So your finished piece can open out, and it's not, the edges will not fray. I'm now going to do exactly the same thing on the synthetic wool, and we'll see what happens. So as you can see, it has a tendency to unravel and fray. It would be much more difficult to try to curl these edges under and to guarantee that it wouldn't unravel. It's simply not as good for Fair Isle knitting as Shetland wool. So I grew up in Shetland in the 1970s at a time where everyone was knitting. If you went to somebody's house, you took your knitting with you, and if folk came to your house, then out came the knitting. So I learned to knit when I was about 5, and I learned the art of Fair Isle knitting when I was about 8, and I've been knitting ever since. Knitting is a great activity in Shetland, especially in the winter months when it can be really dark a lot of the time and poor weather. Then when you get your knitting out in front of the fire, it's just a great way to spend the time. Fair Isle knitting in particular is the type of knitting that motivates me, as I really enjoy watching the pattern emerge and being able to experiment with colour. Shetland is world renowned for its Shetland wool, and here in Shetland we have hundreds of colours being produced. And I really enjoy the creative process of being able to blend with those colours in my work and literally paint with wool. So here is my new book, which was released lately in September. It's called Fair Isle Knitting Tradition, and in here you'll find everything you need to know about Shetland traditional Fair Isle knitting. It starts with a how-to section, and it teaches you everything from casting on to working with two colours and all the techniques that you'll need to know. The next part of the book has 14 tempting patterns to make, and these patterns have been inspired by Shetland traditional heritage motifs that have been passed down through the generations here in Shetland. The patterns start with a nice and simple little bag which can be used as a purse or maybe a mobile phone case, and then they increase in technical difficulty towards the end of the book, and you end up being able to make a traditional Shetland Fair Isle Gansey.